It starts as a feeling you can't quite name. Someone you know begins to rise. A new job, a relationship, recognition. And instead of happiness, something twists inside you. Not rage, not hatred, just an ache. You tell yourself, I'm happy for them. But the words taste forced. You scroll past their photos faster, you talk about them less, you convince yourself you've simply grown apart. But beneath the surface, something ancient is stirring, a deep, defensive reflex of the human ego. Some people can't handle seeing others succeed, not because they're cruel, but because success exposes everything they've avoided facing in themselves. It shines a light on unfulfilled dreams, abandoned goals, and the quiet fear that they're running out of time. Every time someone else wins, it feels like another reminder that they haven't. This isn't jealousy in the usual sense. It's existential comparison. Your brain interprets someone's growth as evidence of your stagnation. Their achievement becomes a mirror, and in that reflection, you see all the things you could have been. It's not about envy, it's about identity. When your self-worth is fragile, other people's success feels like theft. It steals your sense of importance, your illusion of progress, your comforting belief that you're doing fine. Suddenly, you start to measure your entire existence in relative terms. Their win feels like your loss, their spotlight feels like your shadow, and you start inventing stories to protect your pride. They just got lucky. They knew the right people. They changed. You're not trying to be malicious, you're trying to stay intact. The mind defends its fragile image by discrediting what threatens it, because deep down, you're afraid that their success proves one unbearable truth. You could have done more. Psychologists call this ego threat, the emotional discomfort that arises when someone else's achievement challenges your self-concept. It's not rational, it's biological. The ego's job is to maintain coherence, to keep your self-image stable. When someone close to you outgrows the identity you share, the ego feels unsafe. That's why it hurts most when it's someone from your own circle. Strangers can win Oscars and buy mansions, and you won't flinch. But when it's your old classmate, your sibling, your co-worker, the pain hits differently because their success makes it personal. It destroys the illusion that we're all on the same level. And suddenly, you're forced to confront the fact that the finish line you imagined together was never real. You start keeping emotional distance. You avoid their updates, mute their stories, maybe even find small reasons to criticize them. Not because you hate them, but because their happiness feels like a spotlight on your own dissatisfaction. What's happening inside is simple yet brutal. The ego is trying to protect your sense of worth by disconnecting from anything that makes you feel inferior. The mind whispers, if I can't rise with them, I'll pretend I don't care. So you detach, dismiss, or downplay their success, a quiet form of self-preservation disguised as indifference. But underneath that armor lies pain. The pain of comparison, the pain of unrealized potential, the pain of watching someone live a version of life you once imagined for yourself. Sometimes it's not even about success itself. It's about meaning. You see someone thriving, and it triggers the fear that your own life lacks purpose. Their joy makes your routine feel dull. Their growth exposes how small your world has become. And so, instead of admiration, you feel resistance. Because deep down, you don't hate their success. You hate what it reveals about you. It's the silent shame of unrealized capacity. You know you could have done more, worked harder, risked sooner, believed longer, but you didn't, and now someone else has. So rather than face regret, you reach for the nearest emotional weapon, judgment. Judgment feels safer than grief. It gives the illusion of superiority while hiding insecurity. You tell yourself they changed for the worse, that they're arrogant now, that success got to their head. But often, that's projection. You're describing the traits you fear would surface in yourself if you ever succeeded. That's the irony. The very people who can't handle others' success often have the most potential themselves. They just buried it under fear, self-doubt, and resentment. Because resentment is easier than effort, bitterness is easier than accountability, and cynicism is easier than courage. But no matter how much you criticize others, success you refuse to face in yourself never stops haunting you. It lingers quietly in the moments you downplay your own desires, in the way you tell yourself, it's too late, in the stories you repeat to justify staying small. And every time someone else rises, that ghost wakes up again, reminding you that the life you envy is often the one you still secretly want. When you see someone succeed and it stings, the pain doesn't come from their victory. It comes from the meaning your mind attaches to it. Success is neutral, it's just an outcome, but your ego translates it into a personal verdict. They're better, I'm behind. This reaction is rooted in something deeply psychological, the constant comparison loop that modern life never lets us escape. From school to work to social media, we're conditioned to measure our worth through contrast. Grades, promotions, likes, attention, all metrics designed to rank, not to understand. So, by the time we reach adulthood, success isn't just about achievement anymore, it's about identity. When someone else wins, it challenges your story about who you are. You built your self-image around being capable, talented, unique, and then someone else demonstrates the same qualities, maybe even more visibly. Suddenly, your ego panics. If they're special, what does that make you? This internal collapse is what psychologists call status threat. The fear that your perceived position in the social hierarchy is slipping. It activates the same part of the brain that processes physical pain. That's why you feel it in your body. A tightening in your chest, a knot in your stomach, a restless discomfort that lingers long after the news of someone else's achievement. The reaction isn't always conscious. You might smile, say congratulations, even mean it partially. But part of you is grieving the illusion of being ahead, or the fantasy that you were still in control of the narrative. Someone else just became proof that your excuses weren't laws of nature. They showed that progress was possible, and that's threatening. This is why we often resent success stories that come too close to home. If someone you know succeeds, it forces accountability. You can't dismiss it as luck or privilege. They had similar beginnings, similar limitations. Their success tells a story you were too afraid to write. And that truth hurts. In many cases, this resentment grows out of internalized shame. Shame isn't about what we lack. It's about what we think our lack means. You don't just think, they're doing better. You think, I must not be enough. That quiet shift from observation to identity is what turns discomfort into hostility. Shame has a cruel way of disguising itself as judgment. Instead of saying, I feel inadequate, the mind says, they don't deserve it. That's easier to live with, because admitting inadequacy means facing your own avoidance, your wasted time, your fears. But shaming others for their success lets you stay morally superior while emotionally stuck. This is why people sometimes cheer when the successful fall, not because they're heartless, but because it relieves the pressure of comparison. Failure restores balance. It proves that even the ones who made it aren't untouchable. For a moment, the ego feels safe again, equalized, justified, vindicated. But this emotional relief is hollow, because it doesn't heal the wound that created the envy, the deep unspoken belief that success is a competition for limited space, that if someone stands tall, there's less ski left for you. That belief is ancient. In tribal societies, dominance meant survival. Higher status meant better resources and protection. Our biology still treats hierarchy as life or death. But in the modern world, the threat isn't survival, it's significance. We're not afraid of starving, we're afraid of being irrelevant. So when someone else shines, you feel like your light dims. The truth is, it doesn't. But your ego can't tell the difference. It's built on contrast, not connection. It survives by comparison. It needs to feel slightly better, slightly smarter, slightly more important than others to stay intact. That's why success stories can make people defensive. When someone grows beyond a shared identity, becomes fitter, wealthier, happier, more fulfilled, it exposes a truth. We were never truly equal, just comfortable in our shared mediocrity. And comfort loves company. You see this everywhere, in workplaces, friend groups, even families. When one person starts to evolve, the group subtly resists. They mock the change, question motives, downplay effort, not always out of cruelty, but out of fear. Because your evolution challenges their stagnation. Your courage makes their comfort uncomfortable. That's the hidden dynamic behind why people struggle with others' success. It destabilizes their internal equilibrium. The ego thrives on predictability. Everyone in their box, everyone playing their role. But when someone breaks out, it forces everyone else to confront the question they've been avoiding. What if I could too? Most people aren't ready to face that question. It's easier to critique the climber than to admit you've stayed on the ground by choice. So the mind builds stories. They got lucky, they sold out. They're different now. Narratives that restore emotional balance without requiring change. The tragedy is that this defense mechanism isolates you. The more threatened you feel by others' success, the further you drift from genuine connection. You can't truly celebrate anyone, and no one can fully celebrate you. Success becomes lonely to witness and unbearable to share. But deep down, the truth remains. Every time you resent someone else's rise, you're seeing your own suppressed potential reflected back at you. You're not angry at their success. You're angry at your own silence, your own hesitation, your own unlived possibility. And until that is faced, every victory around you will feel like a personal loss. Not because the world is unfair, but because you're still measuring your worth in someone else's mirror. The healing begins when you stop treating someone else's success as a mirror and start seeing it as a map. A mirror reflects what you lack. A map shows what's possible. The difference is perspective, and perspective is a choice. The first step is to recognize that the discomfort you feel when others rise isn't proof of malice. It's proof of hunger. It's your potential knocking from the inside. Envy, jealousy, defensiveness. All of it points to the same thing. Something within you wants more, but doesn't yet believe it's possible. Instead of silencing that feeling, listen to it. Ask yourself, what exactly about their success makes me uncomfortable? Is it their freedom, their confidence, their courage to be seen? Every answer you find is a clue, a direction your own growth wants to take. This is how self-awareness begins, not by denying envy, but by decoding it. The next step is to dismantle the illusion of scarcity. There's no finish line to reach, no single seat at the table of success. Someone else's achievement doesn't erase your potential. It expands it. It proves that what you want is possible in the real world. If you can shift your mindset from competition to observation, you'll realize that the same universe that gave them opportunity isn't withholding it from you. It's inviting you to step forward too. But that requires humility, the kind most people run from. Because humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's finally being honest about where you are. It's saying, I haven't reached that point yet, but I could. And that simple sentence turns resentment into curiosity. When curiosity replaces comparison, the entire emotional landscape changes. You stop judging others for what they have and start studying how they built it. You stop defending your limitations and start dismantling them. You begin to see success not as proof of your inadequacy, but as a demonstration of human potential, a potential you share. The ego will resist this shift. It will whisper, you're behind, it's too late. But that's a lie built from years of scarcity thinking. You're not behind, you're just beginning at a different chapter. Everyone's story unfolds at its own rhythm. You don't owe the world synchronization. You owe yourself authenticity. Real maturity is when you can celebrate someone else's growth without making it about your own lack. Because the truth is, happiness and success aren't competitions. They're capacities, and capacities expand when shared. Think about it. When someone near you succeeds, your proximity to them doesn't diminish you. It exposes you to possibility. When your friend becomes happier, it doesn't take joy away from you. It increases the emotional gravity around you. That's how collective energy works. We rise faster when we rise together. To reach this level of peace, you must confront shame, the shame that says, if they're winning, I must be losing. That belief is what keeps you small, resentful, and isolated. The only antidote to shame is self-acceptance, learning to look at your current place without judgment. You are allowed to be a work in progress. You are allowed to be both inspired and insecure. The key is not to confuse discomfort with failure, because growth always begins with discomfort. That's why someone else's success hurts. It touches the parts of you that are ready to evolve but haven't yet moved. Once you understand that, the pain stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like direction. Eventually, you'll notice a quiet transformation. The people you once envied become the people you root for. You'll feel genuine joy when others win because their victory no longer threatens your identity. It confirms that the path works. It reminds you that good things can happen to people who dare. And when your turn comes, because it will, you'll notice something else. Those who can't handle your success will start to fade. Not out of malice, but out of misalignment. People who live in comparison can't stay long in the presence of self-assurance. Your peace will expose their noise, just like their rise once exposed your fear. That's the cycle, and breaking it is how evolution happens. The final stage of growth is gratitude, not just for your achievements, but for every moment you were forced to confront your own envy. Because that discomfort shaped you. It taught you humility, self-awareness, and emotional honesty. It showed you that admiration and jealousy are made of the same energy. Only one constricts you, the other expands you. So the next time you see someone succeed, instead of shrinking, breathe. Notice what it awakens in you. Smile, not because you're pretending to be happy for them, but because you recognize the reflection of your own possibility. Because the truth is, it was never about their success. It was about your belief in your own. Once you stop fearing someone else's light, you finally see that there was never a competition, just countless torches waiting for you to light yours too.